A week ago, I awoke to find that my mother was missing, and she did not return.
The game is afoot. We've all watched Enola Holmes several times, actually, but how many hidden secrets were you able to find in your 12th time watching it? Well, we can't all be Sherlock, so it's okay if you missed some of the Easter eggs and clever references made in this Netflix film. Today, we're looking at some of the hidden secrets about Enola Holmes you've totally missed. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Number 1. Enola is Sherlock's worthy opponent. While trading Sherlock trivia with Inspector Lestrade to see which one of them knows the detective better, Enola asks him about Sherlock's favorite board game. But then, Enola ended up answering the question herself, saying Sherlock is fond of playing chess, but only with a worthy opponent. Cue flashbacks of Enola also learning to play chess from such a young age. And what do you know? There is actually a foreshadowing to how the story would unfold, with Enola proving to be the ultimate worthy opponent for her detective brother, as she ends up solving the case at Basilweather before him. Checkmate, Sherlock! Number 2. Eudora is compared to the first woman. We mostly know Enola's mother Eudora through flashbacks. In one particular flashback, she was seen picking an apple from a tree, a poignant imagery of Eve in the Garden of Eden. As we know, Eve was cast out of the garden for eating a forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge, which gave her access to a higher order of thinking and made her incredibly self-aware. For her part, Eudora was branded as dangerous and wild because she spent her days consuming new ideas of liberation from books and texts. She was cast out of society for thinking higher, so the reference to Eve in the garden just makes sense. Number 3. Her mother taught Enola how to disguise as a man. While fleeing her brothers, Enola disguised herself as a man. She apparently learned this from her mother, too. In one of the earliest scenes, Enola talked about her mother insisting that she could be anyone. This was accompanied by a flashback scene of the mother and daughter trying on fake mustaches. Later on in the film, Enola is also seen holding a braid wig above her top lip, in mockery of her brother Mycroft, another application of the bizarre yet highly useful lessons she got from her mother as a child. Number 4. A lot of what you saw in the film were improvisations. Compared to the highly scripted work that Millie did on Stranger Things, Enola Holmes apparently gave her a lot of room to improvise. Director Harry Bradbeer wasn't too picky about the script and encouraged Millie and the others to try different things. Of course, the dialogue was written prior to shooting the film, but there were apparently minimal lines and the actors were encouraged to react naturally. For example, when Millie enters the boarding house and sarcastically says, "It's lovely," that was her personal creative genius talking, and we all know how wonderful it turned out to be. Number 5. The historical accuracy. It's very difficult to find inconsistencies in the film, especially in terms of its reference to real historical junctures. For example, when Enola said the Royal Academy was an institution that has consistently neglected to include women, she was actually spitting facts. The aforementioned group was founded in 1768, and although they had 2 female founding members, they were actually prohibited from attending classes. And it wasn't until 1860 when another female member was admitted to the academy. Impressive, right? Well, you can chalk that up to director Harry Bradbeer's history degree. Even though he was pretty liberal about the dialogue, one thing he was strict about was the portrayal of an accurate period piece. Number 6. The reason why there were a lot of Chinese characters written on the walls of Limehouse Lane. Here's another proof that Bradbeer's history degree made Enola Holmes a highly enjoyable movie. Eudoria's activist work has Limehouse Lane for its headquarters. And from the very first time Enola discovers this undercover meeting place, she's immediately surrounded by Chinese writing and symbols, including red dragons that are often used in Chinese folklore. The film never referred to this Chinese imagery, but looking back in history, we know that London's first Chinese immigrant community was formed and established in Limehouse in the early 19th century. This attention to detail is simply stunning. Number 7. Enola's accent was still a problem in this film. If you were watching Enola Holmes and thinking, wow, finally a project that doesn't require Millie to use her fake accent, well, I've got some less than good news for you. See, not all English people have the same accent. In fact, those from London have a different speaking accent than those coming from the rest of the UK. Here's where the problem lies. Enola wasn't from London like Millie, so she's not supposed to be as posh. So yeah, although Millie had more room to work her English accent in this film, it wasn't actually her natural speaking accent that you heard in this film. It was quite convincing though, right? Number 8. The origins of the iconic catchphrase, "The game is afoot." When Enola sets out to execute her delicate escape plan, she breaks the fourth wall and speaks directly to the viewers to declare that the game is afoot. Fans of Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock universe would surely be familiar with this phrase, which is widely associated with a fictitious detective. However, did you know that this particular phrase first appeared in Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1? In this text, Shakespeare wrote, "Before the game is afoot, thou still lett'st slip." So, what do you think? Did Enola learn the phrase from her brother or from reading Shakespeare? Number 9. The moment Enola and Tewkesbury switched gender roles. Think back to that great train escape where Enola and the Viscount first met. While Enola was in her brother's clothes and was all acting manly and stuff, Tewkesbury had on some dress robes and was acting all fancy, as seen in the way he crossed his legs, as if he was a prim and proper woman at that time. Here, you can see the two characters switching gender roles, but that's not all. This imagery of Enola and Tewkesbury is a direct reference to the way Sherlock and Mycroft are usually depicted in art. Number 10. The moment a journalist nailed the details on his report. Shortly after the great train escape, Sherlock read in the paper that two strange boys jumped off the train before reaching their destination, and the look in his face tells us he already knows Enola was one of them. But you might have noticed that the same newspaper clipping referred to a man in a bowler hat, who apparently also left the train while still en route. This is a clue to all of us that the Dowager's hitman actually jumped off the train at one point too, surely to go after the Viscount and the strange boy who seems to be helping him out. Sherlock paid this detail scant attention because he was not aware of the existence of such a man and his relevance to Enola's whereabouts. So it was clearly an Easter egg for us viewers who at that time already knew about and had acquired a certain level of hatred toward this man in the bowler hat. Number 11, a reference to Jack the Ripper. The best thing about the fact that Enola Holmes was released on Netflix and not on the big screen is that we can actually pause and appreciate all the small details. Here, another Easter egg that was placed on one of the newspapers that reached Enola was a reference to the infamous serial killer. An article specifically said that Sherlock had cornered a serial killer at the East End of London. This makes a lot of sense when you find out that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle himself helped investigate the case of Jack the Ripper. It would seem that he barked up the right tree because although it was never confirmed, the Jack the Ripper killing stopped when the suspect identified by Doyle was apprehended. Number 12, when Enola Holmes missed a very obvious clue. Enola was able to track down Edith, Eudoria's friend and one of her earliest martial arts teachers. She tried asking about her mother's whereabouts, but of course Edith could not tell her what Eudoria was doing in London or why she was hiding. But if Enola spent less of her time questioning Edith and more on observing her surroundings, she would have found out what her mother was up to, because stacked on Edith's desk were dozens of propaganda flyers with the words "women's suffrage" printed in bold as their headline. Something tells us Sherlock wouldn't have missed this clue if he were there. But then again, he wasn't the only one to track down Edith. Can you imagine how powerful Sherlock and Enola would have been if they worked together, though? Anyway, that wraps up the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple.